So the first topic that we have today is game patches. Every game has a game patches. Every game has a game. Oh my god, every game have game patches, right? Is there any game without a game patch? There is, right? There is 100% always, like, be it the multiplayer game or single player game. So the question is, do you guys prefer if game developers release small patches weekly or big patches monthly?
It does depend on the state of the game for me.
Same.
Because I believe right nowadays developers like to release their game early. So especially during like the early access period or where the game is actually not stable at all, a weekly patch would be more comforting for the users, because at least you know that they are doing something about it, rather than just you wait and wait, but the problem still stays for a long period of time. Yeah, especially bug fixes. Bug fixes are more important. But however, if you are to put it in a gameplay change perspective, that is something that you should try not to touch unless it's really terrible, or if there's actually something to improve on. Yeah. For example, there's actually a lot of games that actually kind of ruin the whole game by itself due to gameplay changes. Things like even adding a new character inside a game may also be counted as a gameplay change, because it totally changed the meta and the play style of the whole game itself. Probably the most well-known example is Overwatch. Yeah, like I think the most iconic one is probably when they released this character called Bridget. So it totally broke the competitive meta, and then right afterwards, and they didn't actually fix it for quite a long time. Everyone knows it's broken, but they didn't fix it for a very long time, and suddenly when they fix it, they make it almost unusable. Yeah, that is something which is very disappointing to the community as a whole lah. Yeah. So that brings. Wait. I think maybe you guys can go first before I move on to the other two subtopics of game patches. Yeah.
Actually, regarding this, right, another big change will be Dota 2 as well. Dota 2 held back the release of techies for quite some time. I think it took them a few years before they actually decided to release techies, and techies really changed the meta quite a fair bit.
Yeah, like what actually happened there? Like I don't really like keep in touch with the news, like, cause I was watching this video on this like cosplay thing, and then someone dressed as the techies, and then everyone was like going crazy or something. Is it because they did they like re-release the hero or something?
No, they when Dota 2 came out, Dota 1 always had techies. The base game always had techies, but the Dota 2 took them years to develop techies or release techies per se. And nobody liked techies, because techies is the kind of game where you can just play tower defense, you can just hug your tower because you can just put mines around tower, and nobody liked that. But because it was released, the meta changed quite a fair bit before everyone adjust to having techies in the game now. Yeah. So it might, when things like this, right, and you want to make sure that the games is balanced. So when games like Dota and Overwatch, you might want to have like small patches weekly to make sure that the game is constantly balanced every time people are playing it. Whereas if the game doesn't really isn't really competitive per se, right, you could probably roll out big patches in monthly, I guess. Like some MMOs out there do big patches monthly instead of like weekly small patches, right?
Yeah, like I think for like what FP mentioned about those early access games, I think those are the kind of games that would have more like weekly patches. Like I mean, based on an example that I know is Escape from Tarkov. I know they have patches every single week, like on a certain day lah, of course. So, but then again, it brings the point, like, you know, if the game is in early access, then of course, you know, they have to continue to give like updates and all that kind of stuff. You know, if it's like a monthly update, then I I feel like it could work, right? But if you're talking about monthly update, it has to be substantial enough to warrant it to be monthly. If you know what I mean, yeah. But yeah, I think mostly competitive games as well is always weekly. Like Warzone, oh my god, Warzone every single week has a patch, and I'm just like, I just want to play the game. Like, can you stop? Because like when, especially for this kind of games, right? When they have a patch, normally they would change like, I don't know, guns or something like that, right? So you gotta like keep track of what has changed and what has not changed, you know. So it kind of makes things more competitive in a way, but like it just takes some time to absorb the information for me anyway. That's how I feel about it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I would prefer patches to, like, for competitive games to be in a weekly manner, and also for non-competitive games to be in a monthly manner. So something like CSGO, Dota for it to be weekly, then something like what Sea of Thieves and something like that to be monthly. Because honestly, if you're gonna play a competitive game and then you have a bug and then they don't fix it within that week, it's gonna be very, very, very hard to play. It's gonna be very frustrating to play.
Hmm.
Recently was Apex. Apex Season 6 was actually how do I put this? You went into the game, you shredded. You went into the game, no matter what gun you got, no matter what shield you got, you shredded. After you sort of went out from the game. Then after 2 weeks, then they changed back to all the evil shield back to the sort of the normal. Because they actually reduced down 25% of the evil shield.
Okay.
So like yeah, everything is reduced by 25%, the 25 HP. Then after that, I think they patched back because everyone is complaining about it. From PC, from PS4, everyone is actually complaining about it. Then they patched it really fast. They patched it last week, if I'm not wrong.
Okay.
So if you ask me if so-called the game, it depends on what game and what studio. And I think because fan base are very, very important. So, you know, you have to listen to all the players, you know, gather a lot of information and feedbacks and stuff. Then if it's possible, of course if it's possible, can be like bi-monthly or maybe once a month. But of course the hotfix must always be there lah. Because right now all the game is not like last time when we play like the PS2 game, PS1 game, when the game out is out, there's no patch at all.
They don't really change much of it, right?
Or Game Boy whatsoever.
No, don't even have patches.
Yeah, they cannot afford to have patches also.
Like building upon what Zik said, we actually have another subtopic for this, which is how often should game developers rework important gameplay mechanics. So just to be more clear about what we are going to talk about, it's more like for example, like in Overwatch, when Symmetra, okay lah, for those who don't ever play the game before and all that, Symmetra used to have a portal that when she placed it down on the map, the portal will be created at the base and then they go to point A. But then they reworked it, I think, and then now it's like she placed a portal at point A and as well as at point B, so they go from point A to B now, not from the base itself. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe that is what like she can do now. So we are like talking about things that really changes the functionality of a character or the way that a certain like unit or something like that, you have to change the way you play it. Yeah. And yeah, so do you guys feel like they should change it, or should games just be like, once they have the main character skills and all that, they shouldn't like literally rework the whole thing?
I think like characters or what in games getting reworked is fine, but like don't do it so often. Like it's always good to have like a fresh image of like that character, but still retaining like some bits of the originality. But like you can have to change it up sometimes, because like what if that person, like in a given a situation, there's a person who mains that person at that character, and then like it goes too OP, then it can't be like because of that certain group of people you have to like nerf the character, right? So it's good to add like some bits of like changes and stuff to the character.
Okay,
Okay.
for this one, for this, right, from where I'm looking at this question, I think gameplay mechanics, unless there is a necessity, you should never rework it. Because we'll just take the same example from earlier lah. Okay, like Overwatch is actually one of the most relatable cases that we can actually see, because they do a shit ton of rework. Brigitte's rework killed the character. Yeah, Symmetra's rework, it kind of nerfed it, but at the same time it turned it into a totally different character at the same time. Like for example, one of I believe it's left click. Back then it was an instant lock. It's similar to the Moira's right click right now. But right now they removed that. They changed it into a precision weapon similar to Zarya, and they changed the teleporter, which is supposed to be an ultimate, into a normal skill, but of course a weaker form, and gave a barrier that actually cuts the map in half or something. Like, it's a totally different character right now. It totally changed the whole gameplay experience for the person who played that character. It's like, hey, I'm probably comfy with the playstyle beforehand, but right now you're just turning it into another character completely. There's like, it doesn't feel the same anymore, What's important in character design for this kind of game, especially when they're talking about characters, is that even if you were to rework it, like what Adeline said, it must maintain the true nature of its original design. It must not be a brand new character, because if it is a brand new character, you might as well just release a new one, right? Yeah. Then we have another example, which is the rework of, let's say, guns. Yeah, for example, probably not a very popular example, which is Fortnite. Like, when Fortnite first released, the shotgun is the shotgun is a very lethal weapon, and there was this thing called the double pump, which is basically
I remember that.
you carry two shotgun, you just switch, and then you can instant kill somebody. Like, even so, this kind of gameplay, it takes a certain level of skill, and also, of course, what do you call that? Micro, your ADS. So after that, they actually decided to change it totally. They changed the damage, the pellet spread, and they even changed the gun swapping speed, which make it totally impossible. And that actually infuriated a lot of players. Yeah. So, I mean, these kind of things is like on and off. Maybe they want to do it to preserve the balance, but at the same time, for those people who actually spend the time to learn all these technical skills, all their effort just went down the drain. You know how frustrating that is, right? Yeah. So back to where I was saying lah. My stance is still, if there's no need to change it, don't change it. Yeah. That's a key point.
But of course, don't want to talk about Anthem every week, but
when you say Anthem, I just had to laugh. I'm sorry. Because there's so many things wrong with that game. Like, you can literally talk about the game the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, with all the problems.
I don't want to talk about Anthem every show lah. So yeah, let's move on from Anthem or Oh yeah, and I think one of the game actually patched it really good is No Man's Sky. Although I won't go back. I won't go back anymore lah. But but yeah, I think No Man's Sky actually it changed the way actually how we play the game right now. I think so, and it still does. Yeah.
Like when it comes to okay, this is what I feel like in regards to character reworks per se and how they play, right? I feel like sometimes it's because the pro players know how to take advantage of certain skills, right? And then they kind of like discover a way to use the skill in a way that the devs also had no idea you could do that. And then I think, you know, sometimes it prompts a change from them. And then because like, you know, it's like, oh, you can do this in the game, and then they have a YouTube video for it, and then everyone is gonna do it after that. So I think it's like, it's more like a hidden OP side of a character that wasn't meant to be played like that, but somehow they are able to be played like that. So I think that's why devs, like, if they were to do a complete rework, it's probably because of that. Like, what I feel lah, cause it just breaks the game, you know. And all these pro players are just like, you know, cause they are pro players, right? They know how to sort of like exploit a few skills or something like that. Like they would know. So yeah, I mean, sometimes it's for the best, I suppose, because to keep the game competitive and healthy. If not, you have OP characters all over the place, and then it becomes meta. And like the whole Overwatch example with the Overwatch League, like all of them were using the same comp with a Brigette, and I think like 3 tanks or something, right? There was a meta. There's a name for it. I can't remember what's it called.
3 tanks.
Goats, right?
4
Yeah,
tanks.
goals, yeah.
Goats,
And literally every team was using that because that's the only way to win, right? So I mean, it's kind of dumb. So yeah. What do you think, Skylar?
I do agree that if it's very important gameplay mechanic, if it's still the core of it still remains the core of the character, but you change it to the extent that it changes up gameplay quite a fair bit, I think it's fine. Because ultimately you also don't want the skills to be overpowering the game or underpowering. If not, nobody would use that character, right? It's like, let's say Caustic, for example, from Apex Caustic, right? Nobody, literally not even the teammates want to walk in the poison that he throws because it slows them down as well. If ever they see poison, even the teammates also scared, like, oh my god, there's poison, I better go out because I can't see and I will be slowed inside it. They make it to the extent that, okay, now the teammates will actually go into the poison smoke because now they don't get slowed. They have an advantage now instead of an advantage that they used to have before. So with this kind of changes, I think is actually quite okay. It makes the game still balanced out, and it's not like you make people utilize characters like Caustic more than before that kind of thing. So when this kind of, if the rework ensures that okay, more characters get to be chosen to play, then yes, then I think that's a good rework. But if it's like just you totally change your character, then nobody wants to play the character anymore, then the rework will be kind of, well, redundant, you know? Yeah. I would say balancing lah. Like rework has to come with balancing, and like when the subsequent patches or hotfix comes, right, is because of the balancing comes in. Okay, this side balance, okay, that side not balanced anymore. We need to start to balance everything out to make sure that everything is even out. But sometimes you also want to change the game a little bit by adding or like buffing or nerfing certain stuff so that the gameplay are not so still and people will still go back to the game because, hey, got changed already, you want to go back try or not, kind of thing.
That's very true, actually. Like, if you actually see like a huge, okay, maybe not like a huge change, but like you see like it could be nerfed or like really buffed, you will go and try and see for yourself, right? Sometimes I think I'm pretty sure I did try it for like Apex before. It made me play again, just like a few matches, just to see whether it's really OP or not.
last 2 weeks, I actually don't want to go into Apex at all.
Because of the shredding problem.
I tell you, you came down, you any gun that you found. I playing on PS4, by the way. Any gun that you found, you went in 5 minutes, you come out of the lobby.
Oh.
Then we start again. Every 5 minutes you go in, we start again. And you need to play really, really carefully. But this is, I mean, playing really, really carefully is not really like how we play Apex last time. You know, ever since from season 1 all the way up to season 5. Right, Apex is you go in after you if you can one-man army you chung, you can clear a whole squad. But right now is you go in sometimes 1v1 also you cannot win. Before the patch. Then after the patch, actually I feel like okay, even my skill, okay lah, I still can go in, at least get like top 5, top 10, then not so bad. Yeah. Regardless any gun that you got last 2 weeks, I tell you, it's really terrible.
Well, the funny thing is that like we also have to think about patches that fix a problem but create another. I think all of us should have seen it before, right? Like when they change something and then something else becomes broken after that, because I can't remember what game, but I know there are games like that. Can't remember what it was, but I was so mad because I was like, why you trying to fix the problem and then you like make it even worse, right? You know, because the problem just creates another problem. You know, it's not an actual solution to whatever things that they have to patch.
I don't know about all these issues. You can wait. If you just look at Overwatch, you can see everything already. All three questions is all relatable.
I think even Dota has its fair bit of this kind of issues as well.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
But for Dota, even if there is like issues, people will still play it anyways because like they will always find ways to abuse the problem and then bring it into meta.
I mean, if you can buy blade mills to ensure 100% damage return, why not? Why not?
Of course. I mean, it's in our nature as gamers to abuse and cheese the game.
That's very true though. Like, why wouldn't you cheese the game if you have a capability to, right? Like, if you can win by cheesing, why would you not?
Yeah.
Like, actually, in relation to game patches, right? I actually saw something pretty interesting about Valorant characters. So apparently, from what I saw, they had the Valorant Ignition series, right, or something like that. So you could actually see like what characters were used more and all that kind of stuff. And then, you know, I think because of that, this I might be wrong about this, but they released a patch after that where they nerfed a lot of things based on like who uses what agent. So like to make the other agents more of a viable choice, which was quite interesting as well, because like it seems fine on paper, but on the pro level, at like when you use a character based on their highest potential, I think there's like a difference, I think, in a way. But then again, it's a bit unfair because like if you're not a pro player, right, you're just like having some fun, and then they change a character's numbers to suit like the highest level gameplay, then it's also a bit weird, so right? Because if you're not at the highest level, then you can't even use the thing properly, right? So I just felt that that was a very, very interesting way in which they decide what to patch and what to change. Yeah, but I don't know. It's just what
Actually,
I saw. Yeah.
when it comes to that, right, Dota is most guilty of that also, because Every time they see that there's like certain heroes, they after a certain patch, right? Certain heroes are like so-called overpowered or become more useful, right? Then when that happens, there will be a pool of heroes where it will totally get untouched or not being touched much at all. Then this is where after a while, right? Then Valve will start patching this, giving these characters buffs and giving all the top character debuffs, nerfs or something, where they make sure that everything is up and down, going up and down to the extent everything will get played at one point of time.
Yeah, I think it's the same as League also, because they have weekly rotated champions and stuff like that. And then like based on the weekly rotated champions, you will see like which like champion is getting played the most, and those getting played the least, like in the following month they would like buff it like a lot to make it damn OP. Then like people will start playing that. But when it gets out of hand, they will nerf it again, and then like see which other champions need to be buffed, and do the whole same cycle over and over again.
Yeah, I believe for like character related games is whenever there's an update, it always feels like a cycle. Because I believe as gamers when you see a whole pool of options, usually especially after updates, people would start testing out one character after another, especially those that has some changes. And people are going to start, having preferences. And usually it's going to be leaning towards those who the same few characters because it's proven to be more powerful than the others. So like this kind of thing is a bit, how to say, like when it comes to balancing of character, it will always create another problem whenever you do an update. Because no matter how balanced it is, people will always lean towards the one with the highest advantage, even if it's just by a tiny margin. Yeah.
That's true. Because it's all about the like in essence it's still all about the numbers lah and the counters, right? No matter how the character looks, sometimes they will still choose a character because not because they're cool, but because they can win. Yeah. Like the highest chance to win.
Like Fall Guys.
Unicorn and Tutus.
God, do you know actually they patched a few things?
Oh really?
The last patch. I think the one very important is the slime crime. That actually you cannot grab some of the moving obstacle jump.
Oh, I heard about that
No!
one as well.
I'm guilty of abusing it.
Oh.
Lucky I never abused it.
Me too. I always abuse that also.
Because for you guys who play Fall Guys, you know that in Slime Climb there's this one stupid area where everyone will just cluster there and there's no way to get past it once you're in the cluster. So as somebody who abused the mechanic, instead of jumping from one platform to another, I jump onto the moving platform that's supposed to push you off and I climb onto it. And I just jump from one moving platform to another to cross instead of joining the whole cluster.
Yep.
Like if they were to when they remove that, then I'm like, oh, screw that, man. Now I have
you can also grab the hammer, right? Remember?
No, you cannot grab the hammer.
You can hop on
jump
top of the hammer.
Yes.
I think now you still can, right?
You still can hop on top of the hammer, but you cannot grab the obstacle.
Yes. They just removed the grabbing option for the moving platforms that's meant to push you off.
Yeah, and on the good side of things, I heard Fall Guys has banned a lot of cheaters recently as well. Like every time I look at their Twitter in the past few days, we've just banned 2,100 cheaters on Fall Guys. Like every day or something. So I think they are trying to just crack down on all the jump hacks and all that.
I play a lot of Fall Guys on PS4 right now.
Actually, 2,000 doesn't sound a lot due to its popularity.
Yeah, but the really, really interesting thing, right, is that apparently Fall Guys is not as huge as I thought it was, based on the player base. There's only right now,
one person here that doesn't play Fall Guys.
That's 4 out of 5 still.
Yeah, but it's like okay. If you guys were to guess what is the current player base of Fall Guys on PC,
PC
how many players do you think there are?
300k.
Okay. FP and Zix and
In
Ellie?
live players.
Yeah.
100k.
I would say less than 50k by then.
Okay. How about FP?
I'm actually leaning more towards 100k as well.
Yeah, it's actually 100k. Correct. Because I thought it was like 500k or something. Then I went to see the stat. I was like, wait a minute. This doesn't seem like, a lot for the amount of media coverage that it has had so far. You would think that, it would have way more players.
As in right now, or the so-called is the total
Playing right now.
since
The
day
all-time
one?
peak is 172k. Interesting.
That's
huh?
but that's not including PS4.
No,
It's just Steam.
not
Because
including PS4, yeah.
PS4 got free for PS Plus last
Oh,
month.
so it could have been like even more on
Hmm.
PS4, right? Because it was free. Yeah.
Not sure about Xbox, but yeah,
Wait, they
Xbox
have it on
don't have
Xbox?
the
meh?
game, right?
I don't know.
No, right?
I don't even. Xbox
I don't
have
think
the game
so. They don't have it because I've seen a lot of them saying, "Why is it not on Xbox?" Everyone's
Yes,
like whining about it, right?
yet. Xbox
No one
don't have it yet.
understand.
It's bad, man.
Yeah, but
And life.
it is
Still
what
don't
it
understand why
is.
people.
But
Still don't understand why people
I think
spend money.
Fall Guys should come to Switch also.
I think it
yeah, they
seems
should.
like a game that would be made for Switch actually, in my opinion.
But is the internet connection?
Ah,
Hey,
thing
imagine
also.
playing locally with 2 to 4 controllers. That'd be great, eh?
that'll be cool. But the
Hmm.
viewpoint only would be a bit weird, right?
lah.
I doubt they'll
Just
allow
split screen
it.
lah.
Split screen, 4 players.
Yes, 4 players split screen.
The
Let's
good
go.
old days.
Why do
Or
split
PC
screen?
or
But you can force people to buy 2 copies.
That's true actually.
That's how they earn money.
I mean,
Yeah.
they already earning money for cheaters that buy the game and still hack anyway. So
True.
Okay, is there any other things that you guys can share with us about game patches that we may have missed out on?
Not
Anything
for me.
insightful? I think
About game patches, I know actually Destiny Bungie Studio, they fix their game really fast, and every
Wow.
time they are hot, every hot fix they have, they actually really come into detail. I mean, if you know where to read lah.
Like exactly what are the numbers of this and that? What did they actually change?
The one I know because back in days I play Destiny a lot. Then we got so-called there is a Destiny app. So actually they will post up all their hot fix or what's the patch coming for next week, next month, sort of that. So and everything is very detailed.
That's actually really good. Like I always respect the developers who give actual numbers and all that for everything that they change, so that you don't really miss out on anything. Because I know that's like if I am not wrong, was it Overwatch again that I know there are some games where they will just say like, we have nerfed this, so it's less powerful, but they won't say the actual numbers. I think it's Overwatch. I'm not sure about this, but I did read it somewhere.
Overwatch will give numbers, except it's raw numbers. You have to calculate it yourself.
There we go. Yeah.
A few examples is actually because of the armor nerfs. Especially for Brigitte, Torbjorn, all these characters who used to shine when you can control your armor value properly. It's like when they change it, you have to do the math again, because even though you say I reduce this specific amount of armor, but how armor work is actually by damage reduction per hit. Yeah, so it's a totally different thing for different characters after the change. So that's like maybe the blind side of the update. Yeah.
But then again, we all just like Google it anyway. Someone would have figured it out.
Yeah.
Thank you to the unsung heroes, by the way, who do this kind of stuff and try to like look at every single detail in the game that we have to have the time to go and do.
Yeah, of course. Also have to salute to all those studio. Very transparent. Patches, their bugs and stuff.
Not to mention the devs as well. Have to work hard to help you like make sure the game is actually running proper. Also.
Except for Anthem. So yeah.
That's